Alse or Alse Young might have been the first witch in America, or at least the first documented witch in America. The trial for the young woman took place in Windsor, Connecticut in 1647, even before the infamous Salem witch trials that took place in 1692 in Massachusetts. Today we're diving into this forgotten but fascinating figure from American history. We don't know much from her early life, but there are some lasting records that tell us that she was likely born around 1615 and that she was married to a certain John Young, a carpenter who owned a 40-acre plot of farmland on the Farmington River. Back then, witchcraft was taken very seriously, and was one of the 12 capital crimes decreed by Connecticut's colonial government in 1642. Biblical passages like Exodus chapter 22 verses 18 that said, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live," were often used to enforce the sentences on witches and warlocks. Although there are no trial records, many historians have theorized that the allegations against Young were initially made by her neighbors, who thought that she was at the origin of their family's illnesses and misfortune. However, the truth is that Alice may have been used as a scapegoat, because of an influenza outbreak or another similar epidemic that hit Windsor at the time of Alice's allegations. People didn't know much about the disease, and the only way they could cope with it was to blame someone else. Despite her protests of innocence, the woman was found guilty of witchcraft and was hanged in 1647. Her trial and execution are a tragic reminder of the hysteria and fear that surrounded witchcraft in the early colonies. The people simply didn't know what to do when something bad happened to them, and they almost always turned to witchcraft and the devil as the origin of their misfortune. Alse Young was simply another victim of that fear and ignorance. The thing is, scholars now believe that many, if not all, the accusations of witchcraft against women back then were at least in part based on greed and jealousy. In the 17th century, the society demanded that inheritance pass through its males. If a woman in line to inherit the land died before her husband, and without any sons, her husband's property often went to the community. Now guess what? Alice and John didn't have a son. They only had a daughter, who of course was also accused of witchcraft. That's why some historians believe that Young may have been a victim of a personal vendetta or a political intrigue, as there were many disputes and conflicts among the early settlers of Windsor. Others believe that she may have been a victim of superstition and fear, as many people at the time believed in the reality of witches and their ability to cause harm. In the end, Alse Young's trial and death might have been caused by multiple different factors: greed, jealousy, vengeance. But in reality, we know almost nothing about what truly happened to the woman, and remains to this day a mystery. That's all for today's video, everyone. Thanks for watching, and tell me what you think of the case of Alse Young. Don't hesitate to subscribe to see more videos like this, and see you very soon for more.